Hi, it's Luke with Auto Darts. Today we are checking out a brand new upgraded blaster from XYL. This is the Tactical Unicorn. Let's get going. The original Unicorn has been a very popular blaster in the hobby. It's affordable, it's very compact, it's very versatile, metal internals, all kinds of great features. Now XYL, the manufacturer of the Unicorn, has just brought out a new variant of the blaster. It features the same nylon shell, the same grip, the magazine, the stock, with a few upgrades around the edges. Now the core blaster itself is actually essentially the same. The grip, the trigger group, the lower body here is all the same. The top is all the same. Where the differences start are in the front and in the back. One of the designers we work with, Red Cowl, designed this barrel collet and what he calls the wings, and the Unicorn wings. And this is essentially a front extension of the blaster to allow for the longer barrels. Sort of in that light, the Tactical Unicorn has an extended shroud up front, which is covered by a new slide that goes over that shroud and kind of disguises where the seam line is from the original shell. So to be really clear, these two actually have the same central body with an additional front shell added on here and the slide with a horizontal foregrip, or an angled foregrip, I guess, instead of the vertical. I guess those are both angled, just different types. But instead of this very vertical compact one, it's more of an angled foregrip. The last external upgrade is this rear spring guide. Now they've replaced the original flat block that's in the back here, and they have swapped over to a different spring size altogether. There is spring access in the rear. However, we really don't recommend taking the spring out of here because this is under about 50 millimeters of pre-compression. So if you're gonna do that, it's gonna pop out and you're probably gonna, lose your little end here. It's really very easy to get at this blaster. You simply take out the adjustable stock, pull these two quick release pins, and you are instantly on the inside of the blaster here, and you can see how quick and easy it is to get to that spring. So as I'm holding this spring, you'll notice this is a narrower spring altogether, and it is much longer. It is a very firm spring. Additionally, the Tactical Unicorn features all metal internals with the metal ram base in here and the metal plunger and metal spring guide. The spring guide keeps this spring really lined up here, and then the spring goes back into the rear rest and extension. It really seems like it gives it a nice smooth prime. Since we've talked about the new spring, let's talk about the performance. In our 20-shot average with our standard worker darts, we're getting a 228 FPS out of the box experience with a standard deviation of 9. That is without a B-car or a scar barrel. There is certainly room up front for something like this. This is the new Gavin Fuzzy 5-row B-car, and this goes on here. You'll notice actually this one has a little mistake here. Our logo is really funky. It's not a logo, it's just text. So these are available on the website now at a discount, and we will have ones with our proper logo coming soon. But this is great for these higher FPS builds, and actually that looks really nice on there. So I think that's probably going to be my personal setup. I've always liked the Unicorn. It's a very versatile platform. You've got a lot of options. There's a lot of upgrade parts available, but this kind of puts everything into one nice package for that mid to long range game. I think if you're more of a CQB player and you're playing really tight quarters, I'd probably stick with the vertical foregrip and a shorter barrel like this guy. But for a lot of fields, this almost 230 FPS setup is going to be really solid. Since this plunger tube inside is the same as the previous Unicorn, we think that this current configuration is essentially maxed out. One of the first things we wanted to try was just putting a spring spacer in here, and we tossed in 20 millimeters of spring spacer here and saw basically no difference in performance. So I'm expecting that with this 29 centimeter barrel and the plunger volume here, that this is just maxed out as far as performance. And that's kind of some peace of mind. If you want to get your Unicorn hitting as high as possible, this is probably the way to go unless you want that tighter, more compact form factor. And you can kind of see you're probably losing about 6 inches or so. Overall, I think this is gonna be a really great offering. You can still do the top prime up here if you switch this grip to the top. However, I don't think with the spring load that's going to be very feasible. The spring load feels very good. It's definitely not unbearable. So I think that's a massive improvement they have made here. This essentially takes all the stuff you'd have here with the longer barrel upgrade with the metal kit and puts it into a better package that is a little bit easier to prime overall. And the blaster just feels really solid. Finally, let's talk about price. Now, I don't have the retail price on this just yet, or for that matter, the cost price that I'm gonna pay. We are just checking out this very advanced sample to make sure that we are happy with the quality, and XYL has always been a great manufacturer to work with because they are constantly improving and making things better as we experience any issues. Now, what we do know is that we currently sell these for $95, and if you were to add the 29 centimeter barrel and the metal internal kit with the 2.0 spring, that brings you up to about $140 to kit out the blaster that way. With this blaster, you're also getting the new spring design and the new rear spring rest and spring guide. So I would expect this to be, somewhere in the range of those parts, making it a very competitive blaster to hit that 200 to 230 FPS mark. We are going to be working on some upgrades for this. One of the most immediate ones we want to do is a tube back here with an adjustable spring pre-compression. That way, if you've got this spring and blaster, in theory, you could dial it back down to different FPS for various game types. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I think this is going to be a home run hit for those that like the Unicorn or for anybody just getting into the hobby. They're rock solid. The nylon body can be dyed, so you can customize these yourself. If you'd like to see us do a video on dyeing one of the Unicorns, let me know, because now that this has got kind of 3 parts, I'd love to do some custom colors on this. So if that's something you'd like to see in a video or a short, let us know. Until next time, I'm out of darts.